does so much. He does a lot. He talks a lot. He has a lot going on and coming up. Some, of course, are you ready to talk about?
I'm ready to talk about it. I'm ready.
So, Asians represent in general, that's, of course, I support that, just seeing more representation of not just black people, Asian people, all that in the industry and game, playing, creating. And then, you've got the mask.
Then we got the mask, actual play. I got my game design stuff.
You got game design, and you got the Ross rifle.
Yeah.
Kickstarter. When was that again?
Oh, we're gonna do it in October. I think we're doing it in October.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ross rifles Kickstarter October.
Yeah, we wanted to finish the book before we put it on Kickstarter. I didn't want to go to Kickstarter and then, get it funded and be like, okay, now we're gonna finish it. Like, I get that strategy, but I could also wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to finish it, get all of our graphic design done, and have just like a full product ready to go for October so we could ship it as fast as possible.
Yeah, hopefully by then I can get things resolved and I can get it in my hands for sure.
I'll send you one.
Oh, okay.
I'll send you one.
Okay.
I'll send you one. I'll make sure.
Sure. It's just gonna be like me spending a whole day going through the book and then talking about get this book. And then can you talk about the other thing or no?
Which other thing? The
other thing you mentioned.
Oh, the other thing I mentioned? Not that one, not yet. I haven't made a media announcement yet.
Okay, so keep
an
eye out on his Twitter.
But if you go to follow me on Twitter, but if you're going to Big Bad Con, are you going to Big Bad?
Yeah, we'll see each other again at Big Bad.
We'll see each other again at Big Bad. I'm gonna probably announce my project at Big Bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll be
it's
a while.
It'll be a while, but it's another project that's very much is planning on doing the same things as Ross Rifles, teach history, educate people, and kind of paint a more diverse and inclusive history.
Yeah.
Kind of tell the stories of people whose stories aren't really told by the media.
Oh yeah. So still like 5 months away, but it'll be well worth the wait.
Oh, it's gonna be well worth the wait, and I just got brought on to work on Chris Spivey's Haunted West.
Yeah.
So I'm contributing to that, and I'm very excited because I get to write about the Chinese railroad workers
who
are working on the frontier. Because I'm obviously not the right person to write Chris's content.
Yeah.
Right? But he's like, no, there are Chinese people out there, and I was like, yeah, I want to write about Chinese cowboys.
Yeah.
I'm down.
So check out Haunted West.
Yeah, Haunted West.
And Daniel's gonna be part of it. Gonna write about Chinese railroad workers, which is a history that it's weird how people know it, but it's not talked about, and it's kind of just very it's marginalized.
It's swept under the rug, and I think what's cool about it is that I get an opportunity to tell that history and talk about those sad stories, but also empower those people and empower the players who would be playing those characters to do something more positive with them.
Yeah.
I think that's the important part. I think it's okay to talk about the negative parts of history. Talking in Ross Rifles, we talk about there's a lot of discrimination that African Canadians, Chinese Canadians, Japanese Canadians, and Indigenous peoples face when they even try to volunteer to help. And the officers were like, no, you're not allowed to fight. But we're like, but we want to fight with you. And they're like, no, we don't want you.
Yeah.
But there are stories of people. There was a story of a very famous Chinese soldier named Wei Tan Louis. And in Vancouver, he tried to enlist. And they said, no, you're Chinese, you're not allowed. And in Vancouver, they had 100 laws in place that took away the basic human rights of Chinese peoples. And so he was like, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to accept your rejection. So he got on a horse and he rode on horseback across the Rocky Mountains to Calgary. And he enlisted with the 10th Battalion. And he was like, I want to fight. And they were like, let's go. And the 10th Battalion became very famous for being the most diverse battalion. So a lot of the most famous soldiers of color came from there.
Yeah. I didn't know that before.
And that's what Ross was about. A third of the book itself is going to be a history book. To empower people to even play the game properly, right? Because I mean, if you have a good fantasy RPG, you have a good setting to go with it. Like, you know, we've got the realms, and when people know about the realms, they can play the game better.
Yeah,
if they want to set it there. So if we're doing a World War I game, we have to teach people how to portray World War I in the most inclusive way possible.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, so it's Ross Rifles in October.
Ross Rifles in October. Announcement in October. Haunted West. I have something I can announce. I'm editing a 5th edition book. Koryo Hall Adventures. It's a Korean supplement. So I'm editing that. And then I'm releasing my first 5th ed adventure. I don't know.
Yeah, you did.
Wolf of the South. Wolf of the South.
I don't think you mentioned the date.
Oh, end of the month.
End of this month. Oh my goodness.
End of the month. We're gonna drop it on like DM's Guild.
What? 10 days?
Yeah, it's end of the month. Early next month. Yes. It's getting there. It's already written. I'm just laying it out now. It's an adventure for characters level 1 to 4. But it's designed to be a module that you could stick within an Asian setting. It draws heavily from Chinese history, particularly a period called the Three Kingdoms period, and a book called The Romance of the Three Kingdoms. It features Chinese vampires, Jiangxi, but also draws from Chinese literature and how to combat the undead, and Chinese architecture, and Chinese supernatural wards.
I'm here for it.
So it's a one-shot that you can play to learn more about Chinese culture, but also a highly modular one-shot that you could just stick into your campaign.
Do you have like a pricing?
I'm just gonna do like $5. I want to make it like as accessible as possible.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah.
Do you know how long it runs?
For what?
How long it'll take to run it?
To run it?
Yeah.
I can do it in 3 hours. I got you. I have 2 adventures coming out. So I have an itch.io page that I've launched, but there's nothing available to buy yet, and it's where I plan on dumping just like one shot. So I wrote an RPG based on Terrace House. I don't know if you know it, like the Japanese reality show.
I've heard of it. I don't think I know it.
So I wrote a 1-page RPG about the Terrace House reality show. It's just about 6 strangers living in a house together, and what it's like to be roommates with complete strangers. So not quite D&D.
I mean, still.
Yeah, it's still a thing, and then I'm running some like gothic horror that I really like. It's kind of like Bloodborne is one of my favorite like video games, and I want to like bring that into my D&D game. So I wanted to do that. So we got some cool stuff going on.
I'll keep an eye out, talk about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'll stay in touch.
For sure. So what's the weekend been like for you?
To be honest, I did not expect this. In the most positive way possible, I did not expect this. I thought that, I was expecting a convention. I was expecting a hall and all that, and tons of vendors. But I think what we got was really this sort of spread of this interesting ratio of talent / like bona fide celebrity to guest. And we had this like relatively small convention space where celebrities and talent were just mingling with the guests, and there weren't like bodyguards or anything, but people were just freely mingling and chatting and expressing their love of the hobby. And I did not expect that, and to be honest, I was kind of blown away. I think it makes it unique and different from any other convention that's out there. I think it's special, and I think everybody here was like genuinely into Dungeons and Dragons, and I thought that was really cool. I played at the Epic today, and I had a lot of fun. It was like the first Epic I've ever played in.
I mean, I unfortunately did not get to play.
It was
I had
cool.
Stuff to do. I had some recording and all that to finish up, but I heard a lot of great things from people I've had the opportunity to hear. They're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, it was so fun.
It was super fun.
So maybe, hopefully, next year if they have another Epic, and
we should play together. We should play
Sure.
together. I think it was really awesome, and what I like most is like all the diverse podcasters. I think Victoria and Josh did a really good job of like pulling together all of these different podcasters and making sure that all of these different communities were represented here. even on the smaller stage. I thought that was really great.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Wizards took notice of that, and they're acknowledging our efforts, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, big shout out to Greg Tito, who, like, I mean, while he's not the only person who organized this, I know he played a big part, especially in bringing a lot of people who also opened the day, and he's like he helped bring me here. Mm-hmm. And I know he's brought in a lot of other people, and he was really at the head of things to get things moving and just bringing so many great people out. So that is a big shout out to him, on that.
Okay.
So I mean, you said what you got planned for the next 5 months or so.
Yeah.
Like next year, outside of just playing maybe another epic, if come back next year, like main stage goals or
main stage goals would be dope, right? That'd be sick. I think it would be nice to see more Asians. That's my personal perspective. I think next year I want to bring all of the Asians represent people.
Yes.
Right. I'm like.
See. I'm gonna say if all the Asian references crew comes, and then Rivals is back again, Tails is here, Plot Hunters I'm trying to see if I can get the whole Plot Hunters crew here.
Right.
See if I can get the Jace Butler and crew list die here. I'm gonna explode.
That would be huge.
I'm gonna explode. I'm gonna not just all my favorite streamers, but so many of the awesome people of color in the industry doing shit here in this space, brought together by Wizards. And I mean, it's already a great number.
It's supported by Wizards.
Yeah, it's already a great number here this weekend, but it's just even more next year and bigger. It's just my head is gonna explode and everybody's gonna hear it. It's from excitement of seeing all of that. And not just because all my good people, but the visibility and the acknowledgement of all these awesome people of color that getting seen and brought in. Yeah. And given the platform that Wizards has, and they can use it to put their work in front of way more people.
Yeah, and put their money behind.
Oh yeah.
Other people. I think what I would ultimately want, next year would be awesome. What I want to see next year is I want to see more families here. It is an expensive event, but I'd love to see how they would maybe modify their pricing structure, see what they could do. But I'd love to see more families here because this is a great place to get young people into D&D. I really want to bring the whole Asians Represent crew here, and I want to. Well, I'll say it now. We're doing an actual play.
Yeah.
So we got masks. We're doing D&D now. I stayed up really late last night actually writing an adventure because I was super inspired. And we're actually going to do an adventure with a Pan-Asian cast. We added a new cast member. And it's going to be in an East Asian world. With the intention of taking our adventurers outside of this East Asian world to different parts of Asia to incorporate different cast members.
So, I mean, how it sounds like a weird question, but how far Asian do you Southeast Asian?
So right now, for me, I want to go as far. I want to take my experience, my academic background, in archaeology, and I want to basically write the D&D world, the D&D Asia that I always wanted to write. So we're gonna start in East Asia in China. Right, we're going to do a Chinese adventure. But China was obviously connected to the rest of Asia and to Europe through the Silk Road. Yeah. And so I want to be able to follow this Silk Road and have these adventurers travel along the Silk Road, interact with new cultures, meeting new characters, new PCs, new NPCs along the way, and have this big overarching story. But it starts in China because that's where my roots are. And we're going to have an adventure that basically reaches beyond it. And incorporates the experiences and backgrounds of all of the cast members. So that's the plan, and I know I can do it.
All right. So speaking of cast members, when is that going to be announced? Like, who's involved? I have guesses and,
right.
some clues, but are we getting more clues, confirmation?
I'm gonna say, so one thing is like I like to record in person. I really like to record in person. So everybody's gonna be Toronto based.
Okay.
I'll tell you who's in it. So we've got Agatha's gonna be a character. Amar from Mask is gonna be a character because Amar and I have always talked about playing D&D together. And I actually met a fan of Asians Represent at Breakout Con this year. His name's Steve. I think his Twitter handle is DM Steve, like DEEEM Steve. And Steve has been playing D&D for like 15 years. Loves Asians Represent, but loves D&D. And I was like, your enthusiasm is infectious. You want to play with us? And he's like, I'm in. And so those are our 3 core characters to start with. And we're going to expand it from there. I wanted to start with a smaller group so that leaves room for guest people to come in. So yeah, that's what we got so far.
I'm hyped for it.
Yeah. And it's the first time I said the cast, so it's yours.
Yeah, my exclusive.
It's your exclusive.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see it, talk about it, let people know. And it will be streaming on.
I haven't figured that out yet. I think we're probably going to use the One Shot Network's Twitch, but I want to preserve audio quality and I want to make sure it feels authentic. So we might just do it in a podcast format, and then have maybe live streamed one shots. But right now I'm aiming for just podcast.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
While I assemble my costume.
And that's you're aiming for when?
Probably in the next month. In the next month for like an episode 0.
Alright, so it's like end of this month, adventure.
Yeah. End of next month for an episode 0.
End of next month, episode 0. From there, getting episodes up until October. Then we have Ross Rifles Kickstarter.
And then an announcement of my other project.
And then in between all
that
mixed in, Haunted West, more Mask.
Yeah.
So much other, Asians Represent episodes.
And then Agatha and I are I know for sure Agatha's going to Gen Con. I'm likely going to be going to Gen Con, and so we'll try to do a live show there too.
That would be awesome.
So we'll see how that goes.
At this point, I'll not be there. I wish I could be, but I do know a few people who will be going, and I will poke them, to just support y'all.
Maybe we'll try PAX Unplugged.
Oh yes. Oh god.
Wait, it's going to be in Philly again this year.
Yeah. Same place every year.
Same place every year.
Yeah. So we all can try to find them on Asians Represent Podcast, Twitter.
Yeah, AZNS Represent on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and my personal stuff is at Daniel Kwan, and all my design stuff is at Dundas West Games.
And he has a Patreon. Don't support him on that.
Oh yeah, I post all of my indie stuff, all the little games I'm working on. If patrons, my patrons already know what I'm working on, what I'm going to announce in October. So I'm going to be posting a lot of that stuff there.
So yeah, if you want a sneak peek at the big thing that he has, and support him on Patreon.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I want to go to San Francisco so I can do research for this project. So there's the hint.
What's up with him? Hold on. And then find him at Big Bad Con, at Gen Con.
Big Bad Con, Gen Con, Fan Expo Canada.
Hopefully PAX Unplugged.
Fingers crossed. I had to time off.
And then, hoping in a year's time we're back here.
Yeah.
And we have, more stuff to talk about, more people to talk to. And there are people of color on D&D's channel throughout the week, but, of course, always use more, but there's barely any Asian.
Barely.
So, that's great, to have a, diverse cast of different people of color together, but at the same time, having a cast of all, maybe Asian people, all
black people,
Hispanic, Latin people, and it's just I love to see that. That's something that should happen more because it's the foundation, connections are already there. Yes, if Chinese, Japanese, Korean, whatever, there are those differences, but the foundational connections are there.
Oh yeah, and I think it also normalizes players in these spaces.
Oh yeah, you know, like I was talking with Judy Jet from Tris Ellis about how, you know, it's great having just a show that's full Spanish.
Yeah.
And it's like they're not having to cater out to a specific, you know, like regular English speaking world. And D&D Sports, and you know, they host them on their
of course.
So that is something that's great that I'd love to see more of. Just specified, you know, hey, all you have
very niche content.
Yes, outside of the stuff that we've had for decades.
Yeah,
and especially, you know, I'm big mythology, history. Like, I'm not super into, like, to your level.
No, it's all good.
But I love to see the different mythology. So it'd be great to see something of like a show focused on delving and highlighting a lot of the Asian mythology. I'd love to see, you know, just like Tris Ellis, yes, even though I don't speak Spanish that well anymore. Just, you know, seeing that they draw on their cultural history, but
it's not in an appropriative way.
Yeah, since it's their culture, exactly. You know, they know how to highlight it and really present it in front of people that isn't problematic in a large way. And so seeing that, like, there's that Filipino monster Daswan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I learned that through the show Grimm.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'd love to learn
about show,
I'd love to learn about more of that. You know, all the different, like.
Oh yeah, I'm also my down the line. My plan is to do new classes, because the classes as they are right now, the players handbook are very Eurocentric. So like the monk.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I want to rework the classes, and my plan through the actual play is actually to introduce these new classes as NPCs.
Oh wow.
In the world, get players and the audience familiar with them, and then build them from there.
Oh yeah.
That's what's gonna make it different.
Yeah, it's, you know, that is the always big thing with introducing, especially people of color, is like, you know, we're able to draw on our cultures in a respective and full, not always full, you know, because there's always
you have to make
generational differences and all that.
Of course.
The certain cultural disconnects, but you know, in a very as respectful as we can in a lot of ways, into this game that we love, that we want to be better, and we want to be representative of the world. And it's just like, well, that weird limitation that certain people are stuck on, it's confounding.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Just to see, you know, more and more people coming into things, drawing on the cultures, and shaping things into a better place.
Yep.
And especially with Asians representing, you know, I'm like, I'm hyped for it.
You don't even have to. The thing is, you don't even have to be Asian to like Asians represent.
Yeah.
Because what it stands for is far beyond being Asian.
Yeah. You know, and it's a great learning experience, and of course, just doing such great work, and of course, they have such awesome voices, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Like, anybody writing, doing audiobooks, hire them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know who's got a
Fuck James Marsters.
Yeah.
We'll get Daniel to do
You know who's got a great voice? Amar.
Oh, yes.
Amar's got the best voice.
Yeah, it's just like...
He's so chill.
Like, yeah, you know, it's the way you sit down, have to drink.
Sit down, speak to me, and then I'll fall asleep.
Yeah, he just, you're still listening.
Yeah.
But it's just like you're just like, yeah.
He's talking, he's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that about him. That's why I want to continue working with him more.
Yeah.